This is the Airecoler 125-pint commercial dehumidifier. My first thought was simple. This feels like real equipment, not a plastic appliance. It's metal, painted blue, solid all around, and it has two sturdy handles that make it surprisingly manageable for something this capable. It's not light. I weighed right around 50 pounds, but the grip points are placed well, and the shape is compact for what it does. Roughly 19 inches long, 12 inches wide, and 13 inches tall means it slots under a workbench or stairs without hogging space. The build is what I hoped for after cycling through a few flimsy units over the years that cracked, yellowed, or rattled themselves silly. My moisture problem was the basement. About 1,000 square feet, partially finished, and after a spring incident with water sneaking in, the musty smell never quite left. With a typical home dehumidifier running non-stop, I could hover around 57% humidity at best. I wanted to stay between 40 and 50% to shut down that damp smell and keep mold at bay. That's what pushed me to try a commercial unit. On paper, this one is rated for up to 6,000 square feet and up to 125 pints per day. In my opinion, that's more power than most people with a single room strictly need, but it's exactly what I wanted when smaller units kept tapping out. Setup was easier than I expected. The manual is clear, nothing confusing, and everything is labeled in plain English. I used the included drain hose and ran it to my floor drain. If you're new to this, continuous drain just means you connect a hose so the water goes straight down the drain instead of into a bucket. Gravity does the work if your drain is lower than the machine. If your drain is higher, the Airecoler has a built-in pump that can push water upward. I didn't need the pump for my layout. Important detail. Check that the hose has a steady downward slope with no kinks. I had to reroute mine once because a short bend was slowing the flow and tripping the full tank protection. After a quick hose adjustment, it's been hands-off. The control panel is straightforward. Big readable display, simple buttons, and no mystery settings. I set a target of 45% and also used continuous mode after rainy days, which tells the unit to pull as much moisture as it can until I stop it. The screen shows current humidity and temperature, which is helpful when you want to see real progress instead of guessing. There's a timer if you want it to run specific hours, and auto restart is built in, so when the power flickers, it comes back on with the same settings. From my experience, that small detail matters more than you'd think. I've owned units that just stayed off after an outage, and I'd discover it days later with a damp room again. Noise was my biggest worry with a commercial unit. On low fan speed, this sits below my bathroom exhaust fan in terms of sound. There's a steady hum, not a harsh roar. On high, you'll hear airflow, but it's not the kind of loud that forces you to leave the room. I work in the basement often, and it fades into background white noise pretty quickly. Performance-wise, I saw changes within the first day. The air felt less sticky, that heavy dampness was gone, and the stale odor faded fast. I keep a separate hygrometer, just a little tool that measures humidity, to cross-check the reading, and the Airecoler's sensor has tracked closely. Laundry dries faster down there now, and there's no more condensation on the cold copper pipes after a muggy stretch. In my opinion, the capacity is what makes the difference. It doesn't struggle to catch up after storms. It gets ahead and holds the line. Maintenance has been simple. The rear filter is washable, easy to slide out and rinse. I rinse it every couple of weeks depending on dust. The unit also has auto defrost. That means if the coils get too cold and start to freeze, it senses it and pauses the dehumidifying to melt the ice, then resumes. If you've ever had a unit choke in a cool basement or garage, you know how annoying manual defrost can be. The steel body feels rock solid. It doesn't vibrate across the floor, and the footprint makes it easy to tuck away without blocking walkways. Heat-wise, like any dehumidifier, it does blow out slightly warm air when it's working hard. In my basement, that's actually a plus because it doesn't feel clammy anymore. Key features that stood out to me are the high capacity and coverage, the continuous drain with the included hose, the optional built-in pump for upward draining, the simple control panel with a clear display, auto restart with memory of your settings, and the washable filter. Add in the sturdy metal build and the two handles, and it feels purpose-built for basements, crawl spaces, and garages that really need consistent drying. It's not perfect for everyone. It's heavy, so if you're planning to drag it up and down stairs often or slide it into tight crawl spaces without a helper, be prepared. If you don't have access to a drain or a place to send the hose, you'll either need the pump option or a plan to empty water, which sort of defeats the set it and forget it benefit. The look is industrial, which I like in a utility room, but it's not designed as a living room accessory. From my experience, those trade-offs are worth it for the performance and durability. I'd rather have a tough machine that works and clean a filter now and then than babysit a bucket and run a smaller unit into the ground. It's perfect for a damp basement that never quite stabilizes, a crawl space that keeps feeding humidity into the main floor, a garage or workshop where you store tools and don't want rust, or a small storage area with boxes and fabrics you care about. I've used smaller dehumidifiers in similar scenarios and ended up with 2 or 3 units fighting the same air. One strong machine with a direct drain line is much simpler. I'd recommend this for anyone who's already tried residential dehumidifiers and still can't hit their target range, or anyone who wants to stop worrying about emptying water and is ready to run a real solution. A couple of quick tips that helped me. Give it some clearance around the intake and exhaust so it can breathe. Make sure the hose isn't pinched by a door or storage bin. If the water flow is blocked, the unit will stop to prevent overflow. If your space gets very cold, keep in mind that dehumidifiers work best in moderate temperatures. Auto defrost helps if the coils ice up, but I avoid running any dehumidifier in truly freezing spaces. From my experience, the Airecoler 125-pint commercial dehumidifier has been the first unit that didn't feel like a compromise. It brought my 1,000 square foot basement into the 40–50% range and holds it there even after a storm. It's sturdy, straightforward, and doesn't ask for constant attention. In my opinion, the combination of capacity, continuous drain, and reliability is what makes it worth the money and the wait. In conclusion, the Airecoler 125-pint commercial dehumidifier does exactly what I wanted. It pulls serious moisture, it's easy to live with, and it feels built to last. The air is cleaner, less musty, and the basement is usable again without that damp blanket feeling. If you're tired of juggling smaller units or emptying buckets and you want one machine you can set up, monitor occasionally, and trust, this is a strong pick. I will post full information about the Airecoler 125-pint commercial dehumidifier in the comments section. See you in the following videos.